So the next bag that I have for my radios is this one that I just finished, and it's mobile. And the purpose of this bag is to monitor. In disaster, the most important part would be mostly to monitor gathering information. And why? Because you want to have a situational awareness of what's happening. Is there any repair going on? Is there any riot that they announce? There's a good video also that I'll link down on how information, just by using some of the tools that I have in here, can help you if you differentiate what type of radio they're using. Near you, far from you. You don't know exactly their position, but you can kind of know exactly, you know a little bit about what they're doing. So this is the kit. The other thing of this kit is that it's going to stay in the car of my partner, which she's not a ham radio. So the other purpose of this kit is for, well, one, a lot of time we go do shopping or something like that, and I'm in their car, we can use this kit to either get back here, gather some information if we're stuck, because we're actually here in this region. We're in tsunami, not so much, but earthquake for sure. Tsunami, depending on where it would come from and everything, we could get hit, but we are in zone that things could go bad, and I mean, all the other riots and that can happen at any time, anywhere. So the purpose of this kit is that if I'm in that car, then I could get that out, start monitoring, and there's a little bit of capacity for me as well to use them. So the bag itself is, I found this bag in one of our store. I think it was for it was like a survival bag slash road bike for road bags, and so they had like a little bit of supplies like first aids and things like that. I bought the bag, and those were inside there too. So then I added it to some of other of my other bags. Like there was like water and the food, like those typical survival stuff. So it became like two for the price of one, because it was on sale. It was it's a very nice design for exactly what I wanted. But like, for example, here there's like those thing to support the bag on the bike, and it comes with like straps, but you can also wear it on the straps over here. So that's good for that. It has like different pockets. So the top part, where I believe it's for like, when you put papers and maps and stuff like that. What I put in there, I got a map of our place that we live in, things like that, and a little book to write stuff, and with pencils. I got two different, they're from a company called PowerX, and they do a lot of Anderson stuff. And basically what those two things are is, one is a cigarette lighter with a little cable and Anderson at the end. The other one is a cigarette lighter, but Anderson attachment to it. For those that don't do a lot of amateur radio, and everything is Anderson pole. And what they are is that they're black and red ends. And what it creates is that if somebody else because like, for example, any radio, Yaesu, ICOM, they all use kind of different connectors, and they have different terminals. But if you put those Anderson at the end of all that, now all your equipment becomes compatible. So that means that I can connect this to a radio, or I can have a radio connect to my cigarette lighter. And so having that, it's pretty useful. So I put it in there. I also have another 12 volt with multiple attachment to recharge a lot of different, and it's a, it says it's 12 volt, but you can control how much voltage you put it in. So it's variable 12 volts, and so if I need to charge 10 volt stuff, I just change it a little bit, and it will take the car 12 volt to decrease it to 10 volts, because like some radios, they don't like the 12 volts, so they like 10 volts. Or if I would have to run a Raspberry Pi which runs at 5 volt, I could do that with that connection. I also have a connector to do a simple simplex repeater with two baofeng. So basically you connect, and I'll put a video down below that explains a little bit how to do that. And then I got a cigarette lighter battery for the baofeng. So basically, instead of running out of the batteries that you have, you just connect it straight to the 12 volts, and your radio can call. So if I'm in the car and we're running the car, then why would I use my battery when I can use the power that the car is generating? So that's what's in the first pocket. After that, I got my main radio over here, which is an old scanner from Radio Shack, and it can do all the analog, even the air bands, and it's pretty works very good. I also have a speaker because obviously I'll be maybe in the car, so I could have it somewhere, have the speaker and here, and there's a little antenna which is made especially for all the scanning band. So it goes from 25 to 1300 megahertz. So it's really for the bands that this radio can do. I usually, and this one also is a cigarette lighter, so that means I would use my cigarette lighter in the car. So when it comes to the scanner, a lot of people ask, should I use like digital and the P25 and everything and stuff? And from watching videos and my little experience in it with the emergency communication teams and stuff like this, is that 95% of the information that you would gather is from an analog point. So if you have that cheap one, and say cheap, like we're talking like 30-40 bucks on eBay, they will gather as much information that the most expensive one would, beside the digital and trunking. But the ones that use that is mostly things like cities, the police especially, firefighters, EMS. But the analog, so for example, when I use this one, I can hear dispatch sending the ambulance. So even if they use a trunking system, so what a trunking is, it's a little bit the old, if you remember in movies in the 50s when you see that telephone lady working, and somebody would call the telephone and she would take a cable and connect it to another cables and stuff. That's what trunking does. So it's done electronically, but when you call X, it sends you to another channel, and X and Y can talk to on the other channels, but they're using a whole bunch of antennas and repeaters to do that. But this machine will hear, for example, 140000, but now the communication came on 140000, but they're continuing to talk. They're continuing to talk on 140002. And so that one, because the scanner didn't catch that, I'm not following. And then they keep flipping, especially when you use P25. They use it very rapidly, and they change like this. And this is why trunking in the cheaper things cannot follow. But you'll hear the first dispatch, and so those data are very easy to hear. And so just even knowing that there's like 5 ambulances that have been sent to the same place kind of gives me some information. I don't know exactly why they were sent or what's happening over there, but I know that they just sent 5 ambulances, 3 car and police. So if I would want to bug out, I'm staying away from that zone, whatever happens there. So you can still gather a lot of information from the cheaper one. The higher end one, we're talking like $600-700, if not more. They can sometimes do the digital, but the people that we want to keep their communication private. So, for example, police and all this, in time that of unrest, they would create something that would probably make it unattainable. So the risk, the return benefits of that cost, it's not really worth it when I can catch pretty much everything over here. With a device like this, I used to live near a sports venue, and when Joe Blow would bring someone to their chair and stuff, they would talk on the radio, and I could hear it. While during disaster, a lot of those places would be probably used as shelters and stuff, and so you could still monitor what's happening in this because they would probably use non-secure lines because they would run out of radios. So all those you could monitor with this in your area with a good antenna. So like a discount antenna, but this one, because it's a portable, that's why I have that small antenna. On the other part, then becomes a little bit more of the communication part. So if, like I was saying, if I'm in the radio, I'm in the car where I need to communicate, or even with certain protocols, I would let my partner know that, hey, if you're ever caught in something, and listen on these frequencies. So there's a J-pole antenna, very small, and with some cables to bring it up in the air. I got a UV5R, which I'll probably, this one is the UV5R, and I'll probably change it for the new ones that are coming. I got the new baofeng new order baofeng that do the 8 watts. So 8 watts with this would be awesome little radio to have. Again, one of the reasons I do baofengs and those cheap radios in kits like this is that if the car gets stolen or there's a car accident or something, I'm not losing a $400 radio. I'm using just a small radio because it's there for emergency. I got the charger for the baofeng, so in case that we are out and stuff. I also put some chalk because that is another mode of communication. You could leave like some message at certain points. So if I say, okay, meet me at X, Y, and Z, she could leave maybe something on the like a sign, and Urban Prepper did a good video on that, and I'll link it down below on things that you can write and people could understand and know it's a sign that somebody else passed, and so that's why I put it over there. And then I put 2 cheap radio. This is in case you want to be in another car, or you go in another situation and you get separated, or someone's going to look for help, or even you're stuck and somebody goes to look for woods or water to bring back to the car because the car broke down. Well, at least you can communicate in a very near area. So 2 cheap, like GMRS, I think they do both actually, FMRS and GMRS radio with the charger on them, so I can use them, and then I can charge them with the car, because again it's to be used mostly in the car system. So that's the main purpose of this kit, and so therefore a lot of the 12-volt adapters to it. I do have some adapters for plugging in the wall, so in case I do get to a house and it has electricity, I can recharge the radios that way as well. And then to finish, I got the GP5 SSB. So this basically now I can monitor the HF bands and also like the shortwave radio. I got a little antenna that goes with it, and again, put that in the air, attach it to this, and now I can monitor all the frequency and gather some information. Small radios that works with batteries, a lot of videos on it. That's the kit over here. So yeah, so this purpose of this kit is to put in the car, leave it there, be used by a non-ham person, and I can give it to someone else, or I can bring it with inside and monitor as well if I don't use it in the car because we're bugging in and stuff. And so it has multi-purpose, but the main purpose is to be outside. So that was the my portable kit, and we're gonna do another video on the antenna. Talk to you soon.